Nicola Sturgeon faces the humiliating prospect of losing her own seat in this spring's Scottish elections after the Scottish Labour leader vowed to run there. Anas Sarwar, who was elected Scottish Labour leader last month, said today he would challenge the SNP leader for her Glasgow Southside seat, which she has held since 2007. This is the first time in UK politics where major party leaders have contested the same parliamentary seat. Mr. Sarwar said he had grown up in the area and wanted to serve his local community. Ms. Sturgeon won a majority of 9,593 votes in the 2016 election, but Mr. Sarwar said his support in the community could topple her. He currently serves as a regional list Holyrood MSP for Glasgow rather than for a specific constituency. But speaking today, Mr. Sarwar told The Express, "I want to rebuild the Labour Party across the country. I want to stand in my local community, in the heart of my community." The MSP said he respected the Scottish First Minister but warned the SNP hadn't been giving people optimism. Mr. Sarwar stressed the fightback to win Holyrood started in Glasgow with a message of hope for the future that will help us rebuild across Scotland. He claimed that he didn't want to be parachuted in as a candidate somewhere else, referring to the ongoing row between Ms. Sturgeon and her predecessor Alex Salmond. Mr. Sarwar said the SNP should grow up and move on as well as scrap plans for a second independence referendum. He then continued, "We can't rely on the SNP to prioritize recovery because they've already made clear that they will prioritize a referendum this year. It's only by voting for us that you can guarantee that we have a parliament focused on recovery." Quote, "If the SNP gets a majority at this election, we will be diverted by what divides us." Mr. Sarwar said he wanted politicians including the SNP to recognize May's election as a pandemic election, where we've lost thousands of our fellow citizens. He said, "What people don't want to see is politicians fighting between each other." He said Scottish Labour's manifesto going into the Holyrood elections in May will be a national recovery plan, focusing on the health service, education, jobs, communities and the environment. Addressing the impact of lockdown on pupils' education, Mr. Sarwar said the country has a moral imperative to ensure that our next generation do not carry the weight of the pandemic.